My name is Kirsten Tibballs and today I'm creating a winter classic with the superb Bulla Creme range. I'm creating a bread and butter pudding. Instead of the bread, we're using some croissants. To start, we're going to take some of the Bulla award-winning Creme Fraiche. We need 150 grams of the Creme Fraiche that we're going to place in the mixing bowl. So I'm just going to leave about 1/4 in the tub. The Creme Fraiche adds acidity to the dessert. It gives us a beautiful creaminess and texture. Next, we're going to slowly add in some of the Bulla Thickened cream. So I'm going to drizzle that in while I stir to ensure that it incorporates evenly and we don't get any lumps of the Creme Fraiche. So just mixing the Creme Fraiche first and then just slowly pouring in the thickened cream. It's great to add cream into the classic bread and butter pudding, which is traditionally just made with milk. It gives us a much creamier texture and a better mouthfeel. So all our Bulla thickened cream is added. The next thing we're going to add is some caster sugar. So adding in the caster sugar, and we're going to stir that through. This is a really simple recipe to make and it's absolutely beautiful. We're going to add in some vanilla paste. If you don't have vanilla paste, you can use vanilla essence if you want to. Mixing that in, we're going to add in some ground cinnamon. Next, we're going to crack in 4 whole eggs. So mixing that all together. Next, we're going to add in the full cream milk. So just while stirring, add a little bit at a time. When you've got different consistencies and you're adding something liquid, it's always good to add it in gradually. Now that we've got the base mixture made and that's all combined, I'm going to set that aside and start to prepare the croissants. I have some croissants here that were baked yesterday. It's always best with a bread and butter pudding to have slightly stale bread or croissants so it absorbs the liquid a little bit better. So I'm going to cut these up into slices with a serrated edge knife. So just cutting off the end and then cutting fairly thick slices. So I'm cutting each one roughly into 4 pieces. If you can't get croissants, you can certainly make this with some stale bread as well. It really doesn't matter what size you make this bread and butter pudding, as long as you've got enough mixture to soak all those croissants. So we're just going to angle the croissants in. Pack them in nice and tightly. So squeeze them in when you think you can't fit anymore. Keep packing them in so they're nice and tight. We're now going to scatter some sultanas throughout the pudding. I'm just going to ladle our base onto the croissants. Just drizzle it over the top firstly so the croissants absorb it. Otherwise they'll float really quickly. So if they come up again, you will need to just get your fingers wet and just press them back in again. Let it sit for a minute or so, just so that liquid can absorb into the croissants to avoid them floating up to the surface. We've sat that for a minute, so I'm going to add the remainder of the liquid onto the croissants. And it doesn't look like it'll take much more liquid, but you will use the whole amount. And I've preheated my oven at 160 degrees Celsius, ready to put the bread and butter pudding in. We're now ready to go into the oven. This is going to bake for 30 to 35 minutes. Here we have our delicious finished bread and butter pudding ready for my dessert tonight. This is created with the beautiful Bulla award-winning Creme Fraiche and the Bulla Thickened Cream. Head to bulla.com.au to find the recipe details and more recipe ideas and inspiration.